When the sun sets, it is time for the top stories from the day. Good evening and welcome to Sunset News on this Thursday evening. As usual, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather, sports, and so much more. My name is Glenora Shipura. Starting us off in the news tonight, the case in which the city of Windhoek wants Namibia Diaries to pay more than $24.5 million Namibian dollars in damages linked to a heavy fuel oil spill was back in court for pre-trial proceedings as the municipality detailed the environmental, infrastructural and financial fallout of the incident. According to court documents, the dispute stems from a spill of about 24 cubic meters or roughly 24,000 liters of heavy fuel oil at Namibia Diaries factory in early February 2019. The oil is alleged to have leaked through a boiler filter, flooded the boiler room and drained into both the municipal sewer system and the river adjacent to the factory. The city of Windhoek alleges that the spill caused direct damage to the sewer infrastructure, with residual heavy fuel oil adhering to concrete surfaces inside the sewer line, resulting in long-term impairment of the system and environmental harm. The contamination is said to have traveled through the sewer network and reached the Gamam's Water Care Works, the city's main wastewater treatment facility. Court papers state that by the time the spill was detected and reported, a quantity of heavy fuel oil had already passed through the inlet works and entered the primary setting tanks at Gamam's, damaging the plant's biological treatment processes. As a result, the municipality says it was forced to divert contaminated sewage away from the biological processes to prevent further system failure. That diversion, the city claims, triggered a cascade of operational breakdowns. Contaminated sewage flooded low-lying areas of the Gamam's facility, forcing the shutdown of biogas production and the sludge belt press for 32 days. Polluted sewage also entered the river adjacent to the B-series ponds, feeding the reclamation plant and seeped into the B1 pond, allegedly resulting in fish deaths. The city further alleges that contaminated sewage was diverted to an evaporation pond which overflowed into the Gorinchem Dam, causing an oil film on the dam and affecting surrounding flora and fauna. In addition, the city is claiming a further $17.49 million Namibian dollars for water loss to production over 20 days, calculated at wastewater treatment tariffs. Getting into our next story, the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Arts and Culture has acknowledged growing pressure on Namibia's school infrastructure, confirming that temporary solutions such as tents are again being used in some regions as learner numbers continue to outstrip available classrooms. Speaking during a back-to-school discussion on the 2026 academic year yesterday, Education Minister Sinet Steenkamp said rising urban migration and increased enrollment had forced the ministry to adopt interim measures while long-term construction projects are underway. Just this morning, they are busy delivering tents to some schools in Commerce because Commerce does not want to do the platoon system, Steenkamp said. We understand why not, but we are forced. So now the tent option has become one that we can explore while we also ensure that the construction that we are busy with is completed in a given time frame. Steenkamp said the government continues to invest in permanent infrastructure through capital budgets allocated annually to regions alongside an accelerated development plan, prioritizing the sanitation, water, electricity, and classroom construction. That is when you send the money for basic construction of toilets, classrooms, and renovations to the regions, she said. Across the region, schools are being constructed. She cited the newly built Cuba Primary School in the Commerce region as an example, saying it is already accommodating about 800 learners with teachers and principals appointed. You can't also appoint teachers if you do not have the facilities to teach, she said. The minister said several regions have opted to consolidate infrastructure funding to build complete schools rather than scattered classrooms. Moving over to our next story, more than 6 years after 7 Namibians were brutally killed by unknown assailants in Zambia, their grieving families say they are being met with a wall of silence and weak excuses from the Namibian police. The tragedy occurred on the 5th of December 2019. Police Inspector General Joseph Shikongo has, however, pushed back, dismissing the family's public outcry as an unnecessary media spectacle. According to a formal letter seen by Network Media Hub from the family representative Lucas Mikili, the Namibian government initially denied requests for assistance in repatriating the victims' remains. The families say they founded their own trip to Zambia, where they found the bodies of their loved ones. They claim the remains showed clear signs of extreme violence, including broken limbs and missing organs. In pursuit of closure, they followed a directive from Namibian police to exhume the bodies for a joint post-mortem conducted by both Zambian and Namibian doctors. Years later, the families say that closure remains elusive. At the heart of the dispute is the delivery of the autopsy findings. Mikili alleges that despite repeated attempts to contact Shikongo, no official documentation has been provided. The families are now appealing to Good Samaritans to help them secure valid official post-mortem results. Responding to the allegation, Inspector General Shikongo expressed bewilderment at the family's decision to involve the media. The police chief confirmed that he met with a group in the north between December and early January. He maintained that he used his own time and resources to facilitate the meetings and explained the situation to those present. Shikongo challenged the families to approach him directly with their concerns rather than through a third party. Chinese ambassador to Namibia Zhao Weiping says China will implement 58 key activities under 5 different categories, and Namibia will be one of the countries invited to participate in the China-Africa Year of People-to-People exchanges. He made these remarks today at a symposium hosted by the Chinese Embassy in Windhoek, themed China-Africa Year of People-to-People exchanges. Our in-house correspondent Nicanor Nangolo was there and contributed this.
Because people-to-people relations, that's actually the solid foundation. And Chinese President Xi himself attaches this personally attach high importance to that. And also in President Xi's mind that people should always be placed, should be put in at the top place. And of course, I think Namibian leaders they also care very much the welfare of the people. I think that's a common point between us. So this year of people-to-people exchanges, I think it's not just symbolic, it's also substantial. As you can see, there will be very rich activities. We will host, and some of the activities, of course, we will host with various African countries, the governments. So to implement this program of the year of people-to-people exchanges, we, in due time, I think we will also approach various government ministries and agencies
That wraps up our top stories. On the other side of the break, we take a look at what's leading us in our story of the day. Rundu Town Council's youngest councillor, Patrick Kafuna, has launched the Kavango Kickstart Tour at Romanes Kamunoko Senior Secondary School, a youth-led initiative focusing on crime prevention, mental health and health awareness among learners. The program brings together police officers, nurses and social workers to engage learners on challenges such as drug use, vaping and other social pressures affecting schools. We have realized that learners are coming to school with drugs, vapes and many other life challenges, and as young leaders we cannot sit back and watch our fellow youth suffer, Kafuna said, adding that the initiative aims to support learners early in the year and empower them to make positive life choices.
Kafuna Patrick from Rundu Town Council. So we are here at Kamunoko. We are launching Kickstart Tour. So what basically is going to happen here is that we are inviting the police officers, nurses and social workers, where we are now going to do awareness. And that awareness now we are going to do crime prevention awareness, and then mental health awareness, and then also touch on health. And also we also thought of bringing in MVAs, just that with the letter that we wrote to them, they couldn't now finalize everything, but otherwise they could also come on board. So now all in all what we are going to do here is we have realized that learners are coming at school with drugs, they are coming at school with vapes and just a lot of things, and also with knives. So now those are now the things that we want now to tackle, so that we have to stop everything that is really going on in our country. And we are the youth, and so we cannot watch now our fellow youth that are in school to suffer. So now that's why we are now here in numbers to make sure that we help our young ones that are in school. Thank you.
Up next, economic news, but first, a quick ad break. Getting into our economic news, Minister Modestus Amutse says the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy has a central role to play in keeping Namibia's economy moving, but only if there is real accountability and transparency in how work is done. Speaking in Windhoek today during the rollout of state-owned enterprises under the ministry's portfolio, Amutse called on officials and other stakeholders to step up, do their job properly, and take responsibility for the mandates they have been given.
To the development of the country, supporting our national budget. This is one of the key ministries, because that's where minerals are. Nowadays, we are also talking about energy generation. This is the ministry, again, to execute that. We have targets under the National Development Plan 6, which we have to achieve as a ministry, through which we deliver through our state-owned enterprises, apart from the ministry itself. Now, here I'm just trying for us to really work together as a very strong team. Once we are united to achieve the common goal in terms of our national objectives.
Up next, we have our economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 21.77, against the euro at 18.86, against the US dollar at 15.77. 2 Namibian dollars and 27 cents gets you 1 Chinese yuan. On the commodities market, gold went down while copper, platinum and Brent crude oil went up. Brent crude oil trading at 3.86%, going for 71 US dollars per barrel. International news follows shortly.
Wild and free, so it feels so sweet, makes me feel like
A Kenyan court has dismissed a compensation claim by the families and victims of the August 1998 bombing of the United States Embassy in Nairobi. Over 200 people, including 12 Americans, died in the attack and thousands of others were wounded, most of them locals. A nearly simultaneous blast took place in front of the U.S. Embassy in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. Dismissing the petition on Wednesday, the court said there was not sufficient evidence to support the petitioners' claim that the government had failed to act on prior intelligence about the attack. Judge Lawrence Mugabe said they had also alleged that there were known border and immigration failures that allowed infiltration by dangerous elements without detection. Mugabe agreed that the state must take positive steps to prevent violations of the right to life. But he added that these violations of constitutional rights against the state depended on proof of these primary facts. The United States government has already compensated relatives of its nationals who died or were injured in the blast in excess of $5 billion US. Local victims have decried the injustice. Mike Kitvo, who is a member of the consortiums of victims of the 1998 bomb blast, said they were truly disheartened by the judgment. The group said it will now turn to the Court of Appeal and the International Criminal Court of Justice. They are hoping they may be awarded compensation from countries whose banks finance Al-Qaeda's terrorist activities. Getting into our next international news, passenger flights between Ethiopia's capital Addis Ababa and cities in the northern Tigray region have been cancelled amid fears of a return to conflict, with reports of clashes in one area. Ethiopia Airlines, which operates all routes in the country, sent passengers a text message about the cancellation, citing unplanned circumstances. Neither the airline nor the government has commented further. A BBC reporter in Tigray's main city of Mekelle confirmed the news from airport staff who had been told not to go to work. A 2022 peace deal to end a brutal civil war in Tigray has been unraveling as tensions grow over disputed territory and ahead of June's elections. There are reports of clashes between the Federal Army and Tigray fighters in Mai Dehusha, a contested area of Tselemati district in western Tigray. During the conflict, forces from the neighboring Amhara region occupied the fertile area of western Tigray, which remains a source of dispute. The government has said it will be settled through a referendum, but around 1 million people fled that area during the war and remain in poor conditions in makeshift camps throughout Tigray, and it is not clear whether they will get a vote. Let's take a look at our weather predictions for tomorrow. The capital city can expect a minimum of 19 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 31 degrees Celsius with partly cloudy conditions, while Khobabis can expect a minimum of 23 and a maximum of 33 degrees Celsius, also with partly cloudy conditions. Adamsvlei can expect a minimum of 25 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 39 degrees Celsius with sunny weather conditions, while Henties Bay can expect partly cloudy conditions with a minimum of with a maximum of 23 degrees Celsius and a minimum of 19 degrees Celsius. On the other side of this, we take a look at the sports news. Getting into our sports news, Namibia Revenue Agency Commissioner Sam Shifute reaffirmed the institution's commitment to supporting sporting endeavors, saying corporates must listen to the music of the future and start dancing now. Sport remains a key socio-economic enabler. He made the remarks at Arrows Primary School during Nambra's handover of renovated netball courts to the school in Windhoek. Now for the rest of the sports news, here is Jesse Jackson Karaitha with the sports news.
Good day and welcome to the Sunset News Sports section. I'm Jesse Jackson Kauraitha, your sports co-host for today. Of course, we look into some of the stories that are making headlines. And today we start off with the futsal Namibian team that has qualified to the next round of the AFCON qualifiers after beating Kenya in Nairobi. They first beat the Kenyans here in Namibia at the MTC Swakop Mount Dome before beating them, of course, in Nairobi. Another story we have for you, of course, that happened yesterday as well is that the Namibia NAMRA, of course, sponsoring a netball court which was unveiled to the tune of 450,000, and now we have that is NAMRA's, of course, chief Sam Shifute.
We now go for a quick ad break.
Wild and free, wild and free. So it feels so sweet, makes me feel like
With that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Thank you for tuning in and catching up on the latest news with Sunset News. Now, do make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook, on all the NMH platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website, oneup2.com. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25 every Monday to Thursday from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. This has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.